So I went and saw Shelby Oaks, and this was Chris Stuckmann's directorial debut as a film director, because if you have not heard of Chris Stuckmann or know who he is a film critic on YouTube. Like one of those channels like The Flip Pick or Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckmann. He's one of the, I guess, the Mount Rushmore of film critics on YouTube. And at least to me. And this is his directorial debut. He's moving on from YouTube and is now directing films now. And is this film good? Yes, it is. So, if you don't know who Chris Stuckmann is, he was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and he never went to film school. And for a director who never went to film school, there are tons of directors who never went to film school, and two famous ones like Quentin Tarantino and Christopher Nolan, they never went to film school, but they figured out the craft themselves with the talent they have. And Chris Stuckmann, as someone who did YouTube before this, who only just sat in front of a camera and talked about the movie he watched, Chris Stuckmann nailed the atmosphere of this film and the found footage of the film, because this film, Shelby Oaks, is a combination of a traditional movie, a documentary, and found footage. Like, for some people it may be annoying that he's took a lot of inspiration from M. Night Shyamalan and other found footage films and Resident Evil, and I'll explain that where I see that from. But Chris Stuckmann nailed the atmosphere of the film. Like the first part of the movie, the first chunk of the movie is the best part. Like, it really creeped me out. Like, I almost shat and pissed myself. And I love the little details with the found footage of a dude just walking by. Like, it looked real, and the shadow of the door in the room at the beginning, that looked so creepy. It looked gorgeous. Like, every place in the film, even if it was not supposed to be creepy, it's supposed to be like out in public, out in broad daylight, or at home, feels creepy. Like, even Mia and, for example, Mia and her husband's house, who is Mia's the main character, and even her house feels, claustrophobic, and, it's one of those places in the film where it's a combination of haunting and cozy at the same time. It's one of those places. The only place I can think about, I can use those two, haunting and cozy, is Dagobah from Empire Strikes Back. Those are the two. Chris Stuckmann nailed the atmosphere of the story and the movie. He nailed the atmosphere. The movie felt like no place in the film is safe. Anything can happen. And it is a beautifully shot film. And what I noticed is that Chris Stuckmann took inspiration from him being raised a Jehovah's Witness, where Chris Stuckmann where his sister left the faith and haven't met her in 17 years. And he brought that emotion into the film. And this film is gory, and one thing about the Jehovah's Witness faith is you're not allowed to watch R-rated films. And I liked how, even though Chris Stuckmann has been out of the faith in a while, like, I like that Chris Stuckmann chose his directorial debut as a gory horror film. Like, the gore at the beginning of the film was like, fuck you, Jovies. I made an R-rated gory horror film. Which was kind of genius. It's, in a way, Chris Stuckmann taunting the Jehovah's Witness faith. The film is a love letter to, like, in the early years of YouTube and the internet in general, because the plot about the movie is Mia's sister Riley is a ghost hunting YouTuber on YouTube back in the early days of 2005 and 2008, where instead of likes and dislikes, YouTube videos were rated with stars back then. And so it brings nostalgia of early YouTube from 2005 to 2010. So the film is gorgeously shot, and the story worked, and the movie's haunting. There are some things to complain about, like, it is not a perfect movie, but it is a really solid start of a new film director, Chris Stuckmann. Like, he did a good job for it being his first film. And there are some things to complain about. Like, some of the sound effects were kind of weird. Like, for example, like, the example I can think of, the one example I can think of in a couple bits, like, when Mia was, like, scrolling through the found footage from her sister's video camera, like, going through all the footage, like, for some weird reason, like, the camera or TV that Mia's watching the footage on, like, is making Atari sound effects, which sound familiar. I don't know which Atari game it is, but it was, like, weird, like, out of place. Like, the Atari sound effects in the scene where Mia's just going through footage, just where the TV switches footage, like, it felt really weird and felt out of place. The film's budget at times felt noticeable. Like, there were some scenes that used CGI, and this film costed $1 million to $2 million to make. Like, the film does use a lot of more practical effects, but they used CGI when it had to. Like, the big example is the CGI on the creepy, like German shepherds. Like, you can really tell that it was CGI, and there was a shot where they shot the dog using a real German shepherd, and it was clear that this shot in particular was a practical real dog, and the rest of the shots of the dog is CGI. And, like, if it was shot if it was a daytime shot, then it would look like a video game from 2011. But because it was dark, it didn't look as bad as it could have been. It is a lower budget film, which it's not Chris Stuckmann's fault or anybody's fault, because this is a low budget film that was funded through Kickstarter and GoFundMe and by Chris Stuckmann's viewers on YouTube. So it wasn't something that Chris Stuckmann could have helped, which I don't blame the shots of the dog looking like a video game, which I think Chris Stuckmann probably took inspiration from Resident Evil, because with the zombie Dobermans, which I'm not going to go spoil the film, but some of the effects and sound effects just were weird, and you can kind of see its budget. Shelby Oaks got mixed reviews, and some positive and some negative. And I'm definitely in the positive side. I enjoyed this movie. Like, the film's atmosphere, and the film is shot beautifully. Like, especially the found footage shots. It looked beautiful. It looked terrifying. It looked real. And Shelby Oaks is definitely worth seeing, despite the mixed reviews that this film got. We live in an era of Hollywood where all people are going to go see is sequels and big blockbuster franchise films and all that. And go see Shelby Oaks, because you don't have to like it when you go see it, but support independent films and non-franchise films. Like, instead of going to go see Despicable Me 20 or Minions 15 or the latest Fast and Furious or Transformers movie, try to go see an original film, an indie film. That's what I want you to do. And start with Shelby Oaks. That would be a good on-ramp to start if anyone's watching who go see the new Despicable Me or live-action remake or whatever, and watch it and be honest about your opinion on Shelby Oaks. Like, don't trust any reviews. Just go see Shelby Oaks and be honest. Go see franchise films all you want, but also see original content. Like 2025, my New Year's resolutions was to go see original content and try to have a balanced viewing habit. Like, I will still go see the new DC film or Marvel film if it's good, or those things, but I also want to see a good indie film, or an original film, because where are all the new IPs? Where are they? Because back in the 80s, like, we had a balance of yes, back in the 80s, we got original franchises. Like, we got Back to the Future, which was original, and Ghostbusters, which was an original, and at the same time, we got the new Bond movie, and the new Indiana Jones movie, and the new Star Wars movie, which we got a balance of new franchises coming in with a new original IP, plus a sequel, the new sequels. So, in the 80s, we had the balance. And hopefully, with Shelby Oaks, and with Chris Stuckmann already being known for being on YouTube, this is a good opportunity to tell Hollywood, we want original films, we want indie films, we want YouTubers, we want people going from YouTube to the film industry. And that's what we want. Ignore what I say, and ignore what every film critic says on YouTube, or every critic of that movie. Go see Shelby Oaks, and be honest about your opinion. And you don't have to like it, and you can like it if you want, but go see it, and be honest. And you'll support indie films and go see other indie films, not just Shelby Oaks. Because if you do, you'll be involved with a movement. So, this is the Senatroller signing out. Have a good one. Goodbye.